Have you ever stopped to think about how much harder a teenager's life can be than it seems? Often, changes in behavior, irritability, or even silence in a young person are seen as a phase or drama. But what if these signs were a cry for help? Stress, which many believe is exclusive to the adult world, is affecting our teenagers in a worrying way, and most of the time it goes unnoticed. Imagine Joao, 15 years old. He is always busy. Tests at school, sports training, parents' expectations about his grades, and the dream of getting into a good college. At home, his parents are busy with work and end up not realizing that Joao, who used to be happy, now spends more time locked in his room and has difficulty sleeping. For him, it is as if there is no room for error. This constant pressure is silent, but extremely exhausting. Unfortunately, Joao is not alone. Many teenagers go through similar situations, carrying the weight of multiple demands and dealing with intense emotions, without having a safe space to express them. And the most worrying thing? When left unchecked, this stress can lead to issues like anxiety, depression, and even self-destructive thoughts. In this video, we'll explore why teenage stress is such a concern, how it manifests itself, and most importantly, what we can do as parents and educators to change this reality. Adolescence is a transitional phase full of physical, emotional, and social changes. It is during this period that young people begin to build their identity, deal with new responsibilities, and adapt to the demands of adult life. Although it is a natural stage of development, it can be accompanied by significant challenges, such as stress. Stress in adolescence is not just a temporary reaction to difficult situations. It can be caused by a combination of factors. Within the school environment, for example, pressure to get good grades, preparing for college entrance exams, and comparing themselves with peers are common sources of pressure. Many teenagers also face situations of bullying, social exclusion, and fear of failure, which can harm their self-esteem. At home, parents' expectations can also weigh on them. Even unintentionally, comments such as, "You can try harder," or "At your age, I already did this," and that can be interpreted as excessive demands. In addition, family conflicts, divorces, and changes in routine aggravate the feeling of emotional instability. One of the most challenging aspects is that stress is often not easy to recognize. Signs such as irritability, isolation, changes in appetite, sleep problems, or even physical pain can be mistaken for typical teenage behavior. This leads parents and educators to underestimate the severity of the situation, ignoring requests for help that are not always explicit. The impacts of ignoring stress at this stage go far beyond the present. Studies show that stressed teenagers are at greater risk of developing anxiety, depression, and physical health problems in adulthood. This situation can also interfere with their interpersonal relationships, academic performance, and the construction of healthy self-esteem. Understanding the origins and manifestations of stress in adolescence is the first step to breaking this cycle. In the next chapter, we will talk about how to recognize the signs and create a more welcoming environment for young people, reducing the risk of bigger problems in the future. Recognizing that stress can have a profound effect on teens is the first step, but knowing how to respond is what can truly transform their lives. The good news is that there are simple, practical strategies that parents and educators can adopt to prevent or minimize the impacts of this stress, creating a more welcoming and safe environment. Recognize the problem. Stress is rarely obvious, especially for young people who have difficulty expressing their feelings. It is up to adults to watch for subtle signs, such as sudden changes in behavior, a lack of interest in activities that were once enjoyable, or constant irritability. This requires attention and sensitivity. For example, if a teen begins to avoid conversations or frequently isolates themselves, it is essential to ask them calmly and without pressure how they are feeling. Avoid judgments or phrases such as, "You are overreacting," or "It's no big deal." Instead, use open-ended questions such as, "I've noticed that you've been quieter. Do you want to tell me how you're feeling? Is something worrying you at school or at home? I'm here to listen." These questions don't need to be asked only in times of crisis. Including dialogue in your routine helps build trust. A teenager who feels heard is more likely to share their emotions and seek support in difficult situations. Another important point is to pay attention to the school environment. Teachers can identify signs of stress in the classroom, such as difficulty concentrating, a drop in performance, or conflicts with peers. In these cases, a private conversation can help to better understand what is happening and, if necessary, involve those responsible. Listen without judgment. Listening is more powerful than giving advice. When a teenager decides to share something, they are opening a door that requires care. This is the time to listen, validate feelings, and avoid interruptions. Simple responses such as, "I understand how difficult this may be for you," or "I am here for you," can make a big difference. Often, young people do not expect immediate solutions, but rather the assurance that they are not alone. Emotional validation helps to reduce feelings of isolation and increase confidence to deal with challenges. This is especially important because many teens are afraid of being judged or misunderstood. When teens find someone who is willing to listen without minimizing their concerns, they begin to realize that their feelings are legitimate. This in itself is a relief and can be the first step toward overcoming stress. Promote healthy routines. In addition to emotional support, daily habits play a crucial role in teens' mental health. It is the responsibility of parents and educators to encourage practices that help relieve stress and strengthen overall well-being. 1. Physical activity. Exercises such as walking, group sports, or even yoga help release endorphins, promoting a sense of well-being. Studies show that physically active teens are less likely to develop emotional problems. 2. Hobbies and creativity. Encourage teens to explore activities they enjoy, such as drawing, playing an instrument, or writing. These practices allow them to express their emotions in healthy ways and find pleasure in small achievements. 3. Quality sleep. Sleep deprivation can intensify stress. Establishing a regular sleep routine, limiting the use of electronic devices before bed, is essential for teenagers to feel more rested and prepared to face the challenges of everyday life. 4. Balanced diet. A diet rich in fruits, vegetables, and proteins provides the necessary nutrients for a healthy body and a balanced mind. Avoiding excessive consumption of caffeine and sugars can also help reduce irritability. Create spaces to breathe. Teenagers need moments when they can simply be. This means creating spaces where they can relax without the pressure of being evaluated or meeting expectations. This could be family time without pressure or even time alone to recharge. Encouraging breaks during studies. Reducing the burden of extracurricular commitments and respecting rest time are ways to relieve stress. Show your teenager that he or she does not need to be productive all the time to be valued. Know when to seek professional help. Despite all these efforts, some situations require more than empathy and changes in the environment. If your teen shows persistent signs of distress, such as frequent crying spells, recurring negative thoughts, or self-harm, it is essential to seek professional support. Psychologists and psychiatrists specializing in adolescence are prepared to offer tools. Data and impact. Understanding the impact of stress on adolescence is not just a matter of sensitivity. It is a need supported by alarming numbers. Recent data shows that chronic stress affects thousands of adolescents, and the effects can last a lifetime. Let's dive into some of these data and stories that demonstrate the urgency of action. Relevant statistics. Studies conducted by mental health organizations around the world indicate that approximately 33% of adolescents report high levels of stress on a regular basis, caused by school, family, and social demands. More than 50% of young people with symptoms of chronic stress develop some type of mental disorder, such as anxiety or depression, before the age of 18. Approximately 70% of adolescents who suffer from intense stress do not receive the support they need, either because they are not diagnosed or because the adults around them minimize the signs. These numbers are worrying, but they also show us that there is immense potential for change. Recognizing the problem is the first step to reversing these statistics. Impacts of untreated stress. When stress is ignored, it affects not only mental health, but also the physical health and social development of young people. Adolescents who face chronic stress tend to show significant declines in academic performance due to difficulty concentrating and motivating themselves, experience physical health problems such as constant headaches, digestive disorders, and changes in appetite, suffer social isolation, avoiding interactions with friends and family, which can further aggravate feelings of loneliness. Exhibit risky behaviors, including substance abuse or self-harm, as a way of coping with pressure. Real cases and transformations. Stories of young people who manage to overcome stress with adequate support are proof that intervention can make a difference. Consider the case of Laura, 17, who spent months without being able to sleep due to the pressure of college entrance exams and excessive self-demand. Her mother noticed changes in her daughter's behavior and decided to seek help from a psychologist. After a few sessions, Laura learned to manage her emotions and set limits for herself. Today, she is more confident and balanced, ready to face the challenges ahead. Another example is a school that implemented an emotional support program for high school students. In addition to including lessons on emotional intelligence, the school created an active listening space with teachers trained to identify signs of stress. Within a few months, reports of anxiety among students decreased, and engagement in class increased significantly. The cost of ignoring. When parents and educators ignore stress in adolescence, the costs can be devastating. Untreated emotional disorders in adolescence increase the likelihood of problems such as professional difficulties in adulthood due to poor ability to cope with pressure. Unstable relationships, marked by difficulty communicating or trusting others. Chronic mental health problems which can take decades to properly treat. On the other hand, when adequate support is provided, adolescents not only overcome challenges, but also build resilience, an essential skill for adult life. The positive impact of actions. Initiatives that focus on stress prevention and mental health bring lasting benefits. Strengthened family bonds. When parents actively engage in their children's emotional lives, they create deeper, healthier connections. More supportive school environments. Schools that prioritize students' emotional well-being foster a culture of respect and empathy, benefiting the entire school community. More confident teens. Supported young people develop a more positive view of themselves and their future. In the next chapter, we'll discuss how parents and educators can turn this information into practical actions, ensuring that every teen has the chance to grow up in a healthier, more balanced environment. Big changes often start with small actions. In everyday life, there are simple gestures that, although they may seem insignificant, have the power to transform the way a teenager deals with stress. These actions can be implemented by parents, educators, and even peers, creating a broader and more effective support network. 1. Show genuine interest. Teenagers often feel that adults are more focused on their obligations, school grades, behavior, or results than on their emotional experience. Showing a genuine interest in their lives is a powerful gesture. Ask beyond the obvious. Instead of simply asking, "How was school?" Try something more specific, such as, "What was the most interesting thing you learned today?" Or, "Was there anything that excited you today?" Give your full attention. When talking to a teenager, avoid distractions such as checking your cell phone. Looking them in the eye and listening attentively shows that you value that moment. Celebrate small achievements. Praise for something seemingly small, like organizing a backpack or putting in the effort on a task, can have a positive impact on self-esteem. 2. Create breaks. The fast pace of modern life also affects young people. Between school, extracurricular, and social commitments, they often don't have time to just breathe. Encourage downtime. Suggest short breaks during study so your teen can relax. Even 10 minutes of downtime can help reduce stress. Plan offline time. Encourage activities where electronic devices are put away, such as a picnic, a walk, or a family board game night. Allow a day off. If you notice your teen is overwhelmed, consider allowing them to take a day off. Sometimes, a strategic break can be more valuable than insisting on productivity. 3. Offer encouraging words. Words carry a lot of weight, especially for teens who are constantly seeking validation and trying to figure out their place in the world. Build their confidence. Say things like, "I trust you can find a solution," or "I believe in your abilities." Show appreciation. Express gratitude for things your teen does, like helping out around the house or being kind to peers. Avoid comparisons. Instead of comparing your teen to others, focus on their individual progress. You're doing great at your own pace. 4. Model resilience. Teens learn much more from what they see than from what they hear. Showing how you deal with stress can serve as inspiration. Share your experiences. Talk about times when you faced challenges and what you did to overcome them. Show self-care. Prioritize your own mental and physical health. An adult who takes care of themselves encourages young people to do the same. Adopt a positive attitude. Face daily challenges with optimism, without denying the difficulties, but showing that they can be overcome. 5. Promote empathy in the school environment. In schools, small gestures of empathy can create a culture of support among colleagues and teachers. Collaborative activities. Propose group dynamics that promote unity and respect among students. Praise publicly, correct in private. Praise in front of the class can boost self-esteem, while criticism should be done carefully in individual conversations. Create safe spaces. Having a place at school where students can talk to a counselor or just rest can make a big difference. 6. Cultivate gratitude. Gratitude not only improves mood, but also helps teenagers shift their focus from worries to positive things in their lives. Practice together. Encourage your teenager to write down 3 things they are grateful for at the end of the day. Model the behavior. Share with your teen the things you are grateful for, showing that this practice is valuable at any age. Small gestures, big results. These gestures may seem simple or even obvious, but when practiced consistently, they create a supportive environment that helps teens feel valued and empowered. Small changes in daily life can add up to big results, because stress is not resolved by major interventions alone, but by constant care. Smiling face with smiling eyes. Now that we understand the severity of stress in adolescence and its short and long-term impacts, it's time to focus on the actions that parents and educators can take to effectively address this issue. These measures don't require miracle cures or huge budgets. What they do require is empathy, attention, and consistency. 1. Creating a space for open dialogue. One of the most common barriers between adolescents and adults is a lack of communication. Many young people feel that they don't have a safe space to express their emotions without being judged or misunderstood. Creating this environment is essential. Listen attentively. Set aside moments during the day to talk without distractions. This could be during dinner, on a walk, or even while helping with a task together. Validate feelings. Say things like, "I understand that this is hard for you," or "It's normal to feel that way in this situation." This helps show that the adolescent's emotions are important. Avoid minimizing problems. Comments like, "It's nothing," or "It was worse when I was younger," can close the door to future conversations. For example, if a teenager is nervous about a test, instead of saying, "You're just nervous for nothing," try something like, "I'm proud to see how much you care about your studies. Let's think together about how we can help you prepare better." 2. Establishing healthy boundaries and routines. Although teenagers seek freedom, they still need guidance and boundaries to feel safe. Establishing healthy routines and habits can significantly reduce stress levels. Organize schedules. Help your teenager balance studying, leisure, and rest. A well-structured schedule reduces feelings of overwhelm. Prioritize sleep. Establish regular bedtimes and encourage them to disconnect from electronic devices before going to bed. Adequate sleep improves concentration and regulates emotions. Balance responsibilities. Avoid overloading your teenager with too many extracurricular activities. Balance is essential so that he or she has time to relax and have fun. 3. Encouraging resilience skills. Teenagers need to learn to face challenges in a positive way. To do this, it is important to teach them how to deal with adversity without feeling defeated. Talk about failures. Teach them that making mistakes is part of learning. Share personal stories about difficult times that you overcame and how it made you stronger. Practice gratitude. Encourage your teen to list things they are grateful for every day. This simple practice can change their perspective on problems. Help them solve problems. When they face a challenge, instead of solving it for them, guide them in finding solutions. This builds confidence in their ability to overcome difficulties. 4. Cultivating quality moments. Often, the busy routine causes parents and educators to neglect quality time with their teens. These moments, no matter how small they may seem, can strengthen bonds and reduce stress. Activities together. Do something your teen enjoys, whether it's watching a movie, playing a video game, or playing sports. The important thing is to create positive memories. Family rituals. Having set times during the week for family activities, such as a special dinner or an outing, helps create a sense of belonging and security. Celebrate achievements. Appreciate each small victory your teen has, from a good grade to overcoming a fear. This shows that they are seen and valued. 5. Working with the school. A partnership between parents and educators is essential to identify and address stress in teens. School is often the first place where signs of stress appear. Keep an open dialogue with teachers. Ask regularly about your teen's behavior and performance. Support mental health programs. Encourage the school to hold lectures, workshops, or counseling services for students. Educate yourself about bullying. Be aware of possible signs that your teen may be experiencing bullying, such as sudden mood swings or truancy. 6. Seeking support when needed. Even with the best intentions, parents and educators cannot always handle every situation. Recognizing when it is time to seek outside help is an act of care, not a failure. Seek psychological counseling. If stress is persistent and is severely impacting your teen, a psychologist can help identify root causes and develop coping strategies. Discuss therapy without stigma. Present therapy as a positive and normal tool, demystifying the idea that it is something reserved for severe cases. Conclusion: a collective commitment. Addressing stress in adolescence is not an individual responsibility, but a joint effort. Parents, educators, and the community itself work together. A healthier future for our teens. We have reached the final moment of this video, where we tie together everything we have discussed and leave a powerful message about how our actions can shape a healthier and happier future for the teens around us. The power of awareness. Recognizing the impact of stress on adolescence is the first step to transforming lives. When parents and educators understand that stress is not just part of life or a phase that will naturally outgrow it, they begin to see teens as complex individuals, full of potential but also vulnerabilities. With empathy and knowledge, we can break the cycle of emotional neglect and create an environment where young people feel heard, supported, and able to face challenges without feeling alone. The importance of acting together. Solving the problem of stress in adolescence is not the responsibility of one person alone. Parents, teachers, friends, and society at large have complementary roles in this process. Every small action, a thoughtful conversation, a piece of encouragement, a break to relax, contributes to building a strong support network. When everyone commits to taking action, the impact multiplies. Imagine a school where every teacher is attentive to students' emotions, or a home where dialogue is open and respectful. These changes, though they may seem small, build a foundation of emotional health that will stay with teens for a lifetime. An invitation to reflect and take action. As we close, I invite you to take a look at the young people around you and ask yourself what you can do today to help them better manage stress. Maybe it's a conversation, a compliment, or simply being there when they need it most. As you do so, remember that small actions have a cumulative impact. Each time a teen feels supported, they take another step toward becoming a resilient adult who can face challenges and build a positive future. Shaping the future one teen at a time. This video is just the beginning of a journey we can take together. By applying the strategies discussed, we are not only preventing emotional problems, but also cultivating an environment where our young people can flourish. Let's build, together, a world where adolescent stress is not ignored, but understood and treated with the seriousness it deserves. A world where every teenager knows they are valued, respected, and, above all, loved.